Let's start, sir.
Okay. Um, yeah, so good afternoon, all students of the NPTEL SWAYAM course Introduction to Internet of Things. So, um, today is the first live session we have for this course this semester. And I hope all of you are enjoying the course and you're learning different concepts. So, in case you do not already know, basically we are going to have 3 live sessions per semester. So this semester we are going to have 3 live sessions. This is our first live session. And so, if you have any questions, you can ask. Please try to refrain from asking any administrative kind of questions. That you can direct directly to your NPTEL contact. You can email NPTEL directly, or you can contact your local NPTEL office, right? So, so here basically, if you have any technical questions, right? So you get an opportunity to interact with me through these questions. In addition, if you have, if you need any other kind of clarification, that also you can ask. So only the administrative ones you should direct directly to NPTEL. So all of you got a Google form to ask any questions that you may have so far. And I only received a very few questions, right? Because, if you had asked me earlier, so I can come better prepared with your answers. So that is always much more preferred compared to asking questions over here in the chat box on YouTube or on Zoom, right? So basically, that is more preferred. So if you have any, if you have any questions still of which you did not ask this time, so you can ask. But next time onwards, I would suggest that questions that you may have, please try to ask them beforehand so that we can come up with a good answer, better answer for you. Otherwise, on the spot, whatever we know, we are going to respond accordingly, right? So anyways, so that you follow next time onwards. But this time, if you have already asked a question on the Google form that was circulated, then it is fine. But in case you have not, so feel free to ask your question on the chat, the live chat that you have. Okay. So couple of other things. I hope that all of you are not just dependent on the video lectures and the slides. I hope that you are also supplementing your knowledge by going through additional materials, primarily the 2 textbooks that have been given for this course. I hope that everybody has noted these textbooks, right? Everybody knows what these textbooks are, because that is very important. So all of you should have a copy of the textbooks, because through the course, through the lectures, you only get a glimpse of the different important topics. However, if you have the book, you can supplement your understanding by going through in more detail about whatever is covered over here, right? So please, henceforth, please make sure that if you have not already gone through and the textbooks that have been given, you have also covered them, right? You have gone through them. So you should definitely, if you do not already have a copy of it, you should definitely get a copy immediately. And these books are pretty rich, right? You will get a lot of information, and this information may help you to answer questions in a better way in during the exams. Okay. So these two textbooks, I am requesting the TAs who have also joined um, to post the copies, the references to these textbooks. This is already there. The economical Indian edition of these books are available through platforms such as Amazon.in, etc. Amazon.in, right? So not Amazon.com, because the Indian edition books you will get in Amazon.in, right? And the Indian edition books are the cheaper ones, right? So these two books have already been typed on the chat box. So please get a copy of these books, right? So that not just getting a copy of these books, you should also go through the corresponding materials, right? Through the books, from the books as well. So the first book is basically Introduction to IoT, published by Cambridge University Press. And the cheaper economy edition is available on Amazon, right? Indian edition in Indian rupees basically is available on Amazon. The second book is Introduction to Industrial Internet of Things and Industry 4.0. It's published by CRC Press US. But basically, so this particular book also should help you to get additional knowledge. This book is a little bit more costly compared to the other book, but both of these books somehow you should get access. And so if you go to Amazon.in, for example, search with my name, you should be able to see both of these books. Okay. So anyways, coming to the questions that were asked using the Google form that was circulated. Let me go through them one by one. The first question is tricks to clear the NPTEL exam. Remember one thing, that there is no shortcut to success. You must have heard it yourself also earlier. There is no shortcut, right? So you have to really, if you really want to fare well in the NPTEL exams as well, then you need to study hard. You need to work hard. You need to learn the topics, initially maybe through the recorded lectures and the transcriptions that are provided to you. And later on, you should be able to learn these, um, uh, from the book, right? You should supplement learning these from the book. So there is no trick, there is no shortcut, okay, of doing this. There cannot be any shortcut also. There is no shortcut, there cannot be any shortcut. You have to learn the longer way. Okay. So there is no trick. You need to go through all the lectures and assignments thoroughly. You must also include a lot of reading references in the form of textbooks, research papers, etc. in your preparations. So basically, you need to read additional materials. Second question is that what is the importance of IoT and usefulness, I think. That it should be usefulness of these. So IoT basically refers to all the things that we use every day and basically these things are connected to the internet, right? So these basically the sensors in these devices, they sense whatever sensors they're supposed to sense will sense, and that sense data is sent through the internet. So it is rapidly growing, right? IoT is rapidly growing due to its significant importance across a huge range of applications in various fields: industries, manufacturing industries, healthcare, hospitals, marketing, agriculture, precision agriculture, and many more. So, for instance, basically, you know, uh, for instance, like let us say IoT, basically, huh? So IoT will enable us to do basic tasks like program a coffee machine or a dishwasher remotely using a phone, maybe while at work or in the train way back home, or going to work from home, or download useful data to enhance the exercise performance through the own smart devices, right? So this is the importance. Next question, somebody asked, sir, my question is that what is the future of IoT and where this knowledge we can apply? See, future of IoT, I already told earlier also in the recordings, you must have heard that IoT is currently revolutionizing different fields by integrating different types of technologies. So some of these basically include edge computing, some include digital twins, 5G, 6G, blockchain, connected digital healthcare, and so on. So IoT is combined to create intelligent machines that provide smart behavior and automated decision making. Similarly, IoT with 5G basically provides new possibilities for centralizing the data streams, real-time data processing, higher transmission speed, and so on. So it can basically provide, IoT can provide fully automated remote diagnosis, treatment for connected digital healthcare, and so on. So there are a lot of, you know, the the future of IoT is very bright and promising. Okay. So next question is, when the sensors are deployed in the field for extended periods, how can we assess their accuracy, correctness, deviation from true values? What are the procedures for remote calibration of these sensors to restore their true values? To assess the accuracy, basically, correctness, deviation from true values of sensors deployed in the field for extended periods, etc., you can employ the following strategies. The first is baseline correction or calibration. So here basically you can have either pre-deployment calibration. That means that before deploying the sensors, you should be able to calibrate them against the known standards or reference documents in a controlled environment. So this basically provides a baseline for accuracy. The other is periodic recalibration. So here basically we are talking about scheduling the regular recalibration intervals to compare the sensor readings against the reference instruments or standards. And this helps in detecting any drift in accuracy over time. Third, or next rather, that's the second, not third, is the use of reference sensors. So co-located reference sensors, for example, where a large number of highly accurate, well-maintained sensors act as references alongside the primary sensors in the field. They regularly compare the readings of the primary sensors against these reference sensors to detect any deviation. Mobile calibration units also act as reference sensors. They can also act as reference sensors. So basically, these mobile calibration units will use calibration units equipped with reference sensors to visit the deployed sensors periodically and check their accuracy. The third is statistical analysis of sensor data. So here we are talking about trend analysis, cross-sensor comparison, other outliers detection. So trend analysis means that you want to analyze the data over time to detect any trends or shifts in sensor readings that might indicate drift or degradation in accuracy. Cross-sensor comparison basically means that if multiple sensors are deployed in a field, okay, so basically, so let me tell you something about the cross-sensor comparison. So if there are multiple sensors that are deployed in the field, you want to compare their readings in overlapping areas or conditions. So if there are significant discrepancies between these sensors, that could indicate that one or multiple sensors are deviating from their actual values, the true values. Okay, so these are some of these, strategies that can be used to minimize the deviation. So baseline calibration, use of reference sensors, and statistical analysis of sensor data. Next question is that I have not attended the previous session. Can you extend the assignment's date as I was busy with some conference work? So, as I said at the outset, these sort of questions you should send directly to your NPTEL contact. Okay. So I do not want to manage all these things. Next question is, can you please tell important questions? This type of question also I find a little strange because, everything is important. Everything that we have covered is important. So that's why, every material that I mentioned, every slide, every lecture, every recording, the books, or the corresponding topics, etc., these are also accordingly very important. I hope that makes it clear. Now, let me just quickly check the questions that you have asked on YouTube live chat. So let me tell you, that in the next session, next two sessions, basically two other sessions, as I said at the beginning, you should come prepared by asking these questions in the Google form, because that way I also will be able to give you a better answer. Now you have asked chop and hop. Can you please explain, sir? I do not know what is this chop and hop you are talking about. Somebody has asked the difference between chop and hop. So can you tell me, like, in which context you have mentioned it? See, there are certain things like chop properties. So that is basically for autonomous systems. So yeah. So but that is basically an acronym. That is an acronym for something. So if I remember correctly, CHOP stands for, C stands for configuration, H stands for healing, O for optimization, and P for performance, if I remember. Right? So these are the CHOP properties, and these are only a few of these CHOP properties. Right? So obviously, hop properties also will be a subset of these CHOP properties. Okay. So So basically, autonomous systems basically mostly follow the CHOP properties. Autonomous systems means what? Systems where, there is minimal human intervention. Everything is done autonomously. So if there is a fault in the wire, in the connection, in the link, if there is a fault on the device, the mobile phone or the any other device, basically the computer, right? So that computer or the device or the IoT device basically can heal on its own. So that is the H. Self-healing, self-configuration, self-configuring, self-healing, self-optimizing, right? So self-optimize the performance and whatever you want to optimize. And P stands for performance, right? So basically you want to have a self-performing. That means that, if the performance is degrading, then basically the system, the subsystem basically takes over and tries to bring them to the proper level. Next question is how IoT will be implemented for high-speed SDN networks. See, SDN IoT, basically, you must have heard about. So IoT technology and SDN technology being integrated together. So IoT will be very useful in SDN networks, as they will be able to provide computation support at the edge, where critical flows containing sensitive sensor information can be processed quickly at the edge, or be given the priority routing. So IoT can also help in gathering the network metrics and flow information over which the analytics can be made. So based on these analytics results, the SDN applies something called the flow rules, or the flow rules have to be managed in SDN. And basically, one can switch the placements for for improved efficiency. Okay. Now, next question is that in the exam, the question asked only from material and assignment. So again, your question is not very clear. So if you are asking about the type of questions that will be asked in the exam, then you can expect MCQ type of questions, like in the assignments that you have got. Not the same questions. There may or may not be same questions, but you get an understanding of the kind of MCQ questions that have been asked. So that's all I can tell now. Whether it will be asked from the material and the assignment, obviously it will be asked from the materials, from the recordings, from the assignments, from uh, also from the books, basically, the books that I mentioned at the beginning. Next question is managed infrastructure-less network. Managed infrastructure-less network of mobile devices connected wirelessly in WSN follow the self-hop properties. It was about managed infrastructure. So basically, I think if I remember correctly, this question or a very similar one was asked in the discussion forum also. So it was answered over there. So please feel free to go through the response that have been given over there. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Any other question? What about cybersecurity challenges? I see another question. So cybersecurity, basically, there are a lot of challenges in IoT. IoT devices at the device level, you have challenges, security challenges. Then the network itself, there are challenges. You need to secure the network. The analytics that you use, the processing that is done, there are challenges. So basically, yes, the end user will have to be careful, right? So there are different algorithms that are there for protection from security hacks and security, attacks. But these basically, these protocols, they do not work very well in these kind of resource constrained environments. So that is the reason why there are so many new protocols that are coming up to address security, right? So typically these are like, lightweight versions of the regular security protocols. Okay. So the existing protocols, for example, like, PKI. PKI is resource intensive. So you cannot really run PKI over here, right? So there are adaptations which have been made to handle these kind of solutions in this kind of resource constrained environment. One more aspect I wanted to share with you. See, you mentioned about AI and ML. They can also help in reducing the challenges. Of course, there are some algorithms, AI, ML algorithms, which are much more complex. But the thing is that they can be modified, taking into account their challenges, computational challenges, and so on. In CPS, AI/ML basically plays an integral role, right? It's a big role that is played by AI/ML in cyber physical systems. So as a user, one must be aware of the different attacks that are possible, the attack vectors, the attack surfaces, and how to mitigate those. So an informed user is likely to face less attacks than an uninformed user. I hope that that answers your question. Okay. So I'll just wait for some more time before we close the session to see if anybody else has any other question. Any other question? You all, always you can, you know, type your questions on the discussion forum that is there with you. That also gives an opportunity for us to give the answer to your questions in a better prepared manner. So you can always do that. But here also, if you have any questions like the ones that I just discussed, that also you can ask. But later on also, you can stay connected with us through the discussion forum. Okay. So I do not see any further questions. So in that case, we are going to close the session over here now. So we will meet during the second and the third interactive sessions, live sessions. This was the first one. So I hope that all of you study really hard, enjoy the contents, and in addition, if you want to practice a little bit of IoT-based system development, that will be an added benefit for you. It will not all be theory. You will also be practicing a bit. That will be good for you. So please do that. Okay. And if you have any other questions, as I said, you can ask in the discussion forum. I just see that somebody is asking about careers and job opportunities on IoT. So IoT basically, let me tell you, it's a new technology that is kind of, you will find a lot of opportunities in different companies. There are units which are developed, R&D units and other units in companies which look after IoT. So most of the modern companies, basically, they are looking into IoT based projects. So IoT is definitely trendy. You are expected to observe a lot of different jobs, but at the same time, I am not a placement professional, right? I cannot tell you like, whether you are going to get a job or not, right? But what I shared with you is about the trend. IoT is almost like, it is invading everywhere. So everywhere you go, you will be able to see the footprint of IoT. So definitely, there are a lot of career prospects of IoT, as I believe, right? Okay, thank you then. So we are going to end the session now. Take care. Bye bye.